everyone, welcome back to the Anime Iceberg. I'm Megan.
And I'm Meg.
And today we're talking about Dr. Stone, episode 61, Light Trap in the Darkness.
Yeah, this is season 4, episode 3. In the summary of the episode, the Perseus lands in the Americas. They first head to Northern California in search of yellow dent corn, but discover a lot more than that.
And this covers manga chapter 148, Pioneers of Earth, and 149, Light Lure in the Darkness.
Yeah, and let's get into it. Yes, they've arrived in America, and everyone's really excited. But they're also sad because, as soon as they, get there, they see all the statues, and they had some hope that maybe America would be up and running again, but seeing all those statues confirmed it for them that America is not back. And this is when we learn that they are in San Francisco, and they realize this because they see a bunch of statues in the middle of the, I don't know what it'd be, the mouth of the river, I guess, technically.
Yeah, because they're still in the ocean, but then the rocky, the cliffs leading up to land, it's just covered in statues, and they progress downwards into the water too.
Mm-hmm. And that's because that was where the Golden Gate Bridge was. And they're like, yeah, there was a massive car pileup. And honestly, likely most of those statues, if they're broken, they're
eroded.
Yeah, they probably
dead.
won't be able to be revived. Which I was saying, I'm glad that we're landlocked.
Yeah.
So if we got turned to stone, we'd probably not be, well.
You never know.
Yeah, a lot can happen. But anyway, that's never gonna happen, so don't need to worry about that. And it's really funny, because, at first, the Ishigami villagers are, not impressed by America. They're like, this looks exactly like it does back home. And everybody's like, oh yeah, because, all the landmarks in America are just, gone. But then they see, huge sequoia trees and some giant pine cones. And then they're like, oh wait, it's so cool.
It is different.
Yep. I guess, I don't know, because I haven't been to Japan, but,
I think it's similar enough in temperature and, depending on where you are.
Yeah, depending on where you are. Maybe California and Japan?
I don't know.
But I don't know.
I've heard of, Hokkaido being really cold, and when I hear that described, I'm like, that sounds like us in the winter, where we are.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not exactly sure, but I do think that we would have similar reactions going to Japan, and, landmarks aside, if we were like, oh, this doesn't feel that different, and then we'd walk past, sakura trees in bloom and be like, never mind, that's cool.
Mm-hmm. Yep. But anyway, they're searching for corn now, and they split up into 2 teams. They have a scout team that's actually searching, and then they had the resource team, who's basically, I think they're, collecting food and other things that they need to survive on their ship. As Senku, as they're they have 2 boats. They have a little mini speedboat, and then the science lab that has been turned into a boat. Senku makes a comment and is like, oh yeah, the animals might be really big because they haven't had any because it's been, I guess, because basically it's been 3,700 years. And then they, immediately see crocodiles that are just ginormous. They're huge. And the battle team gets, this super epic scene where they all, jump and attack the crocodiles.
I love that scene. Because the crocs are going, fresh meat! And then Kohaku and I think Yo are fresh meat.
Mm-hmm.
But in the manga, somebody says, land for our feet and our bellies want meat. Because it was mentioned earlier in the episode, they've been surviving on the diet they took onto the ship, onto the Perseus, and that's been mostly, bread, preserved fruits, and the drinks they had, so they haven't had hardly any meat whatsoever.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah, they're pretty starved for any other kind of sustenance, basically. And they get Well, it looks like they get, like, one crocodile.
It is huge.
Yeah, which is enough to feed everyone. And, of course, they have the, like, classic American hamburger, which was very funny. But it also, like, very seriously made us question, like, where are they getting the lettuce and tomatoes and the bread?
They had American cheese, like, little squares.
It's like, this is, like, strictly for the... like, ooh, we're in America now, and it's, like, not based in reality. Like, there's no way there's just, like, wild... Like, there could be, like, wild lettuce and tomatoes, but they would be vastly different from, like,
they might have been growing some... I think
know.
In the last season, we saw that they had a greenhouse-type situation on the
Perseus.
Perseus.
Yeah, they do.
So, like...
That's true. So, I guess maybe they could have some.
I'm just trusting that Francois is working miracles here.
Uh-huh. I mean, they made all those drinks in the last episode, which is very impressive.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, they cut open, as Sukusa's cutting open one of the crocodiles, they find yellow dent corn.
Yes, it's funny in the manga because Sukusa grabs the stomach out of the crocodile, but they pixel it out in the manga because it's kind of gross. Mm-hmm. And Senku looks horrified that Sukusa is holding it.
Honestly, like, to me, that's not that gross. It's just that it would smell really bad.
Yeah.
Like, just trust me. The insides of an animal smells nasty. And if you've done any sort of hunting, I guess you would know that. Anyway, it's time to follow the corn trail. And so they kind of they go up the river and are finding more and more corn, but Senku's, like, getting really, he's, like, suspicious. He's like, this seems too easy. Why are there just, like, tiny pieces of corn in the river? And we see, like, Kohaku, she keeps finding more corn, and it's really funny because she, like, grabs Hyoga's hair to, like, lean over the edge of the boat and find the corn. And I didn't notice this first time, but you can hear him
whimpering.
Yeah.
Well, I think I noticed the whimpering the first time because Homer was like, hang in there, Hyoga. And I was like, for what? But I noticed that she grabbed his hair because it's blink and you miss it in the anime. Mm-hmm. But when I was reading the manga, I was like, wait, that's hilarious because his face is getting stretched as Kohaku grabs him.
Yeah, and Kohaku's like, he deserves it, so it's fine.
He does.
So yeah, Senku's kind of suspicious, and then we see that there's something else out there because there's something in the trees that slaughters all the wolves, which honestly I feel like was completely unnecessary because wolves can't climb trees. Like, that person or that thing just, like, went down and killed them, and then just, like, okay. Anyway, that was sad. Like, not the wolves. But anyway, so we know there's something out there. It's nightfall again, and Senku decides to, like, make a light trap to attract different kinds of bugs, and he's basically, like, looking for, like, a certain type of moth, and he finds it, and it's a type of moth that eats corn, so it's like, okay, there's definitely corn nearby. And while he's doing that, Tsukasa senses something, and he's like, it's bloodlust. But then he also smells smoke. And he's like, everybody run. And in, like, this was so crazy the first time we watched it. It's just like a machine gun starts attempting to, like, mow them down. But luckily, everybody gets away without getting injured, which honestly, okay. I'm kind of wondering, like, how hard he was actually trying.
Yeah, maybe he was trying to, like, gauge what they were up to and, like, scare them a little bit. But,
yeah.
I don't know. It got pretty close there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but they all get away. And, of course, Senku's like, I don't know if he's excited. I mean, he kind of is, because he's like, it's a science duel with an evil scientist. And then we see the guy that shot at them.
We don't see all.
No, we just see... Do we see, like, literally see, like, his
mouth?
His mouth, and that's it. And
yeah.
He's like, how did they sense me? And whatever.
You said you went back and watched the sub to see, so they're in America now, so that there's gonna be some differences between the dub and the sub, because in the dub they'll continue to speak English, obviously, but in the sub they had some of the actors actually speak English like Americans would, or a close approximation.
Yeah, it was a pretty, I would say, it was a bad translation. Because he said, what did I texted you it. I think he said, why did they know? As like a question. I think that's what it was. Yeah. No, why did they find out? Which to me like makes zero sense. But we were thinking that what he meant to say was like, how did they know that I was here? Yeah. Basically. Honestly, it kind of surprised me that this sentence didn't make sense. Just because it's like, it's not like nobody speaks English over there. Yeah. But anyway, yeah, I'm interested. I might be watching more of it in sub, so we'll see if I hear any more. Well, I wonder like how much, at like what point will like just they all be speaking English most of the time, or will there be a certain point where you're like, okay, you can just assume they're speaking English and we're gonna,
or speaking Japanese to each other or whatever they are, because if I remember right, how they go forward in this season, there are moments where it's just like, oh, I don't speak Japanese, or oh, I don't speak English. Like they just say it out loud. Yeah, they're all speaking English still, but I mean they just have to broach the fact that there is a language barrier, even though they can't represent that to the audience. It's much easier to read in the manga because when somebody's speaking English or a different language, it'll have like little brackets over the text so you know.
Yeah, I mean, like, I imagine that they're not gonna speak English the whole time because it's like, why even hire a Japanese voice actor if they're just gonna speak English the whole time? But anyway, that was just like a fun little thing it's not a fun little thing that happens at the end of the episode because it's terrifying, but it's fun for the viewer. And that's where the episode ends.
Yep, and we've got one that's bad from Chrome, so yay, back on track.
Yeah, it's been a while since he's said his catchphrase.
I only count that's bad because he said bad before, and other variations, you know, but not like the classic that's bad.
Yeah.
I had an animation expertise note, and it was just about that scene during the battle team's crocodile killing. It's just so they didn't have to go that hard on the animation, but they did. But it's like bold lines, forced perspective, and fast movements just to highlight each of the battle team members. It was pretty cool. Very, very shonen.
And I like that you got to like, I feel like this is like the first time we're like seeing them in action and seeing like who's part of the new battle team. Really. Yeah,
to show them off, and also I think it was an excuse to be like, this is a shonen, but we don't get to do shonen things, so let's go all out to prove to people that like, yeah, we got it.
Yeah, honestly, this is probably like the most shonen season with
that's true
everything that happens. I really enjoyed it, so no complaints here. Yeah, and then we have the YouTuber Perry Chahal made another video about this episode and some of the more sciencey things. One thing that a couple things that he noted is like the sequoia pine cones, which is what, when they found that huge pine cone, Senku was like, oh, it's the sequoia pine cone. And he's like, yeah, they're not that big. They're normally like 2 inches. And what they were looking at was actually a sugar pine cone. But I would say that later on, Senku was like, yeah, everything's so much, like, can be so much bigger now. And like has changed a lot. So like maybe that was the author's workaround for that. Okay. Or they just made a mistake.
Because the 2 trees are similar. Like, they both have pine cones. So.
Yeah. And then when Senku was talking about when they were searching for the corn, they're kind of worried that they're like just at the end of the season. But Senku was like, no, the seasons have like shifted a little bit because of what he called the precession. Well, he just called it the precession, I think.
Yeah.
But it's actually, the full term is precession of equinoxes. And it's basically like, so the Earth, has a daily rotation of 24 hours and has a annual revolution of 365 days when it like goes around the sun. And then it has the precession of 26,000 years, and that's when it's something with the sun and the moon and the Earth.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they're all, no, because they're not all rotating. Just, sun's not moving. But basically it's like, what do you call the gravitational wobble? And so it's kind of like changing the timing of the seasons, basically. Mm-hmm. And so they have, what did he say, like an extra 9 days?
Yeah.
I think. And one other thing, that when the crocodiles attacked, he's like, yeah, there's no crocodiles in California. But it is possible for them to be there because we have found fossils in California. And honestly, like, I was thinking, like, well, if they somehow manage to escape from the zoo.
Yep,
or,
like the lions in Japan.
Yep, yeah, or any number of things could have happened. And it's literally been, like, 3,700 years without any humans around, like.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I feel like anything could happen. But yeah, that was kind of the science portion of the episode.
Yeah. And one more fun little story. So they were talking about moths in this episode because Senku was looking at the wildlife, and there was some kind of discussion they had about moths and butterflies, and Ukyo basically saying they're the same thing, just they look different. And it reminded me of a story I read a long time ago, so forgive me if the details are incorrect, but I read this like folk tale about how moths came to be. And basically, I think it went something like moths used to be more beautiful and more colorful than butterflies, but then they had to give up their colors either to the rainbow or to give beauty to the world, and the butterflies were too vain to do it, so the moths did it instead. Something like that.
Honestly, I don't love moths. Their bodies are gross.
I like their antenna.
And anytime you touch their wings,
the
dust comes off.
I'm okay with them, except when they're inside and eating fabric.
Well, no, if they land on me, I'm screaming. I don't like them. Ew, get off of me.
Well, one's as big as they were finding.
Yeah. Ugh. But yeah, that's all we've got for this episode. So, Megan, what was your favorite line?
Mine came from Gen. Our little Chrome always finds his way to optimism, no matter the situation. What about you, Meg?
Mine came from Senku after they got attacked. And he's like, it's going to be a science duel. And he said, don't tell me you're not stupid excited now.
That's the most intense, get excited-esque phrase we've gotten.
Yep. And what did we learn?
We learned, don't be so focused on your goals that you get trapped.
And then who pushed the story forward?
Tsukasa for sensing the sniper and warning everyone.
Yeah. Hey, I'm glad we could shout him out.
Yeah, I don't think he's really gotten any. Maybe one.
Yeah,
I'd have
maybe
to look back.
a couple, but for pushing the story forward in an evil way, not in a bad way, not in a good way.
Right.
But yeah, all right. That's all we've got for this episode.
Yep, thanks for listening. Check out our Instagram at The Anime Iceberg and YouTube, and you can also email us at theanimeIceberg@gmail.com.
Yep. All right, bye.
Bye.